Welcome back to episode 41 with Cory Townes. We really get into his love and appreciation for Pharrell and Neptunes in this part of the episode. Enjoy. Peace and love.
Just to switch direction just slightly, we had Nylles on the show last year, and he talked about the other side of the planet collection you guys did. Can you kind of give us your perspective, how that project came to life, and what's come of it since?
Man, the other side of the planet changed my life. I think that was kind of coming off of the era of that was kind of coming off of, the era of us having blogs and stuff like that. Like I kind of went from the blogs. I didn't really blog as much anymore, but Twitter essentially became our blog. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of how I was able to kind of get my thoughts out about things and express, my creative interests and stuff like that. And just being able to talk about the Neptunes all the time. Just like, yo, like the Neptunes is this, Neptunes is the greatest producers in the world, nigga. Like just being able to kind of do that and then find other people who, felt the same way. And, Nylles found me. You know what I'm saying? Like we just kind of started like finding ourselves talking about similar stuff. And, I remember he DM'd me one day and, we were just talking in DMs and he was like, I was just like, yo, man, like I remember just saying I would love to do like a musical project. Like I would love to do like something with music. I didn't even know what it looked like. And he was like, we talked about, the funny thing is we talked about a bunch of like other artists. We talked about mad different artists and we landed on the Neptunes. He was like, oh, well, yeah, I don't Neptune shit. And like I come from I come from I wasn't really into torrents and shit. That's how you end up getting your credit card and shit. But like and shit like that, little Napster, little da da da, like knowing how to look at different files and be like, oh yeah, that's that scam shit. I ain't gonna do that. Like I had a nice collection of Neptune's music. I'm like, yeah, I got a little something. I got some unreleased shit. I got some Japanese shit. I got some Teriyaki Boys. Like I'm thinking I'm the man. I was the man, but Nylles was the fucking man. Nylles was the man. Nylles sent me a screenshot of his entire library, and I was like, I have never seen no shit like this. Like, first I was like, I need this. I was like, I need this. I need to have this. And then, we were just like, yo, what would it look like if we just put out, like our, not even our tape, but what if we just did like a crime? Like, what if we just did a thing celebrating the Neptunes as producers? I don't feel like no one's ever done it before. They were still active, obviously, in the time. This is what, 2013, maybe 2012, 2013. So like they were still very much working and stuff like that. We like, yo, let's just do it. And I find that in a lot of my earlier projects, I've worked with people that have allowed me to kind of do the thing that I know I'm good at. Like, for Nylles, it was like, hey, I got the music. I can do the organizing and I can do this. I can take your collection. I remember I sent him mine and was like, I can take all of our stuff and like organize it together. You come up with the story behind it. And, the same way it helped me, as a writer, the same way it helped me later on in life working in advertising and marketing, at different agencies and stuff like that. Like one thing about me is that I've always been able to tell a story and, just spitballing ideas with them. We decided like Neptune, this, that, third, the other side of the planet, it just came off. And, everything from like, we worked really well together. He was a genius visually. Like one thing I envy anybody is anybody can do some shit in like Photoshop or something. I wish I had that skill set to do. But like everything from taking like just different Babe graphics and making it into a flyer. Anything from taking the places, the cover, the places and spaces I'm in and make it into a flyer. Like Nylles was cold with that shit. And for me, it was just a matter of like, all right, well, I'm gonna do the writing aspect. I'm gonna do the storytelling aspect of it. And it's funny, man. Like it was the first time that I've ever been a part of a project that had different lifespans. Like when we did it, the first time we did it, this is like 2011, 2012. We released it through Tumblr. It was very much if like we would tweet about it, whatever, like, hey, this is the thing that we're doing. And then we started seeing people like fucking with it and downloading it, whatever. And then it just kind of lay dormant. You know what I'm saying? One thing I love about Nylles is like, Nylles is a creative's creative. So like Nylles is like, yo, fuck that. I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm doing something else, totally different. I'm like, Nylles, chill, hold on. Like, don't delete it. Like, just keep it. He's like, nah. He like, are you right? But no, I'm just gonna do this. Like, so we had mad times over like a span of maybe like 2 or 3 years where it wasn't on the internet no more, which I think was in hindsight was incredibly helpful and beneficial to its success, because then it became once something's gone, then it became a thing of like, yo, does anybody know where I can get that Neptunes collection? Da, 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 da. And we would find ourselves kind of like coming back every once in a while, adding a couple more volumes in there. Coming back another while, we're gonna do the instrumentals and the samples and this and that. And I remember I was in New York, so this is maybe about 2014, maybe 2015. And we just decided that, like, hey, we're going to put this back out. And we decided we're going to put it back out. And what I didn't realize is that both of us had bigger platforms than we did the first time we did it. So it went a little bit, not even a little bit farther. It went a lot farther than the first time we did it. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. I was actually in Philly. I used to work for a media company called Cassius that's based out of New York. It's with like Interactive One and shit. And like, I was the entertainment editor there, and I was like on-screen talent, and they were testing out pilots for shows. One of the shows, they wanted to give me like my own food show. I wanted to be like Anthony Bourdain, but like the black version and shit, young one. So we actually went to Philly. We were in Philly on a shoot, and I just remember like him hitting me up and was just like, bro, are you seeing this shit? And I was just like, what are you talking about? And he was like, yo, OK Player found our Neptune shit. And he sent me the link. And, again, this is me like peak working in media. So I'm like, damn, I didn't even like do the thing I know now to do to like pitch it and send it to homies or nothing. Like, and I just see it. It's like, two fans create entire Neptunes discography. And then I remember maybe an hour later, he sends it to me on Hypebeast. I lose my shit. Like, this is Hypebeast. Like, at the time, I'm like we on Hypebeast. Now, what I will say is it getting on Hypebeast where shit got sticky, because whoever the writer was decided to put the head as, here's how you can get every Neptune song for free. Not a good joint. Like, you don't, like, not a good joint. Not a good joint. Like in hindsight, now that I think about it, I wish I knew who wrote that. I'd be like, bro, like, you don't do no shit like that. And I remember, like, I was like, I'm so hyped that, I'm literally in Philly, like, on a shoot. Like, we're like taking cuts from like recording scenes and shit. And I'm geeked. I'm like, yo, we on Hypebeast, nigga. Da, da, da. Like, I'm so excited. And then now it's calls me. And he's like, bro, we're fucked. And I was like, how? I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, yo, Scott Venner's on Twitter saying some wild shit about you. And for those who don't know, Scott Venner is the host of Othertone, an incredible music supervisor for all of my favorite shows in Entourage, and I think How to Make It in America and Ballers and shit. Like, Scott Venner is bull. And so I very much knew who Scott Venner was. And I remember he retweeted the Hypebeast link on the Hypebeast tweet and was like, I don't think this is legal. Then in the following tweet, he says, I think Cory Townes should get a lawyer. And instantly, like, my heart drops. Like, I'm just like, because, then now my awareness of what the music industry is now coming into play, where it's like, oh, fuck, we definitely collected and distributed all of this music, not for a fee. There was never any price associated to it. Like, it was all for free. But the fact that we're getting some sort of capital from this, whether it's promotion, whether it's, an increased, branding or whatever, like, the music business will get you for that shit. So I remember I was scared as hell, and like, I was in a gas station on Vine, damn near like almost like near like Spring Garden Street. I was in a gas station. I was calling some of my lawyer friends and like, here's the situation. Do you think I can get sued? And they were like, yeah, no, maybe so. Like, with music, it's so many different avenues of who made what, who owns what. Like, it would have to take, like, you would have to have like a label come at you. And then all of these songs are on different labels. So unless they were really decided to make an example of you, you should be fine. And I remember, I remember the first time we put it out, the first time we put out the project, I remember I was at home with my girlfriend at the time. And this is, back in the first time, so it's like 2011, 2012. And I get a notification on my phone and it said, Pharrell follows you. So I was just like, I'm like, oh, this is Twitter, spam and shit. So I'm like, I check it and it's like the official account. What the fuck is this? So now I check it on the computer. Same thing. I go to check it on my girlfriend's phone. Same thing. And I'm just like, nigga, did Pharrell just follow me on Twitter? And like, my girl, she, oh my God, she starts losing it. I start losing it. Like, everybody's losing it in the house. And I remember not too far after, he DMs me. He's just like, like, peace, man. I saw the project that you and Nylles made. I'm incredibly humble. Like, thank you. So I'm losing my shit. I'm like, oh my God, like, Nigga is Pharrell. Nigga, if Jazzy Jeff is my first music inspiration, Pharrell's 1B. So I'm just like, I respond something back, hey man, thank you for this and the third, whatever. So fast forward to, when the new shit came out and all of this Cory Townes to Find a Lawyer shit, he DMs me again. And he's just like, hey man, like, again, seeing what you and Nylles have done, like you guys are really dope. Thank you for like really like holding us up and like championing our work and stuff like that. He was like, we'll love to like meet with you in the future and so on and so forth. So that kind of gave me a little like ease of like, wasn't nobody going, at least not the dudes who made the shit. They're not going to sue our ass off. So, we kind of went about our business. We let it die out. We made it a point to like, kind of put a thing out like, hey, we didn't do this to make any money or to get any sort of notoriety from this. We literally did this, as a way to, pay homage to, our favorite producers. I even think we took it down for a little bit. Like we was just like, yo, we're going to take it down, like whatever. And then I think maybe later on that year, it was around the time of the first Culture Con. And it was like, I remember it was like December, if I'm not mistaken. And I got this random DM on Instagram saying some shit having to do with like Star Trek records. And I was like, I'm thinking it's spam. And I checked the person's account and I saw that, they did some stuff with Star Trek records. And I think it turned out to be Pharrell's manager at the time, or like one of his managers, someone from his team. And she's just like, hey, Pharrell and the guys are going to be hosting Culture Con, in a couple of weeks. They've instructed me to they want to know if you guys want to come out and come out. And I was just like, I'm like, is this for real? And she's like, no, it's for real. She was like, we want to bring you out. We want to bring Nylles out. And, they was just like, let's, that's what we want to do. And, I was like, all right, cool. They brought me out to Long Beach. I had a chance to kind of, enjoy the conference or whatever. Saw a bunch of the homies out there. And then, they had a live version of Other Tone where I remember it was like him, Scott Venner, ironically. All at NERD. It was him, Chad Shea. I think Family might have been on there, who's one of my favorite Star Trek rappers ever. And Push was all on there. And, we're watching it and stuff. And I remember like, I was talking to his rep and they're like, hey, the guys want to meet you after the joint or whatever. And I'm like, cool. So I'm kind of like not freaking out, but freaking out about that. And then I think Scott asked him a question. It was like, yeah, man, they were talking about the latest album. And they were just like, yeah, like, give us the inspiration of the album. And it was like, man, we made this for people like Cory Townes. And like, it was wild because you ever seen in like movies where it's like a person and a figure and it's like the background gets way drawn out, but like the person kind of zooms in. Yo, no lie, that is exactly what happened to me. Like, I remember just kind of like it did like that. And I remember people who were sitting around, there's footage of this. And in the footage, you hear me say out loud, what the fuck? Like, I just didn't, I was totally shocked and totally surprised by this. And then people start like kind of like clapping and sharing a little bit. And I was just in stunned disbelief. And they was like, yeah, we made it for him. And we made it for this other girl who was like I think like a NERD blogger and stuff. We made it for these, these kids and these people all around the world who like really like hold up our music and this, that, and the third and stuff. And it was incredible, and, after it was over, ironically enough, that was actually the first time me and Nylles met in person. We met in person. We had never met in person from there. Mind you, we've been on the phone. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Phone, emails, all the constant stuff. I mean, it's just a story of, the internet and, blog culture and how people, connect through music and common interests, without ever having to see each other's face, but they've really made a legitimate impact on, community. And it was wild. Like, we walked up on stage and, I had a chance to meet, P and stuff like that. And it was wild because kind of bugged out because he's coming to Shay and Chad. I met Chad a couple years before at South by Southwest. It was very much in passing. And he's like, yo, these are dudes who they did the project. They got shit on here I ain't never seen. And I was just like, or shit I ain't never heard and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bro, what's happening? Like, I was kind of upset. I'm not as upset anymore because I've since had the chance to DJ for Pharrell and Push and Nigo when Nigo dropped his album last year. So I had a little bit of a redemption, but like I was such in awe and such in shock at what was happening around me that like I was not myself. I wasn't myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was very much, I was stuck. Like, even in the picture, I was just like, my eyes mad, like I'm just mad surprised. Like the look in my face just told it all. But yeah, man, I mean, I feel like, I feel like I've been very blessed to have experiences like that. The DJing, the I Know Nigo party, or the release event, that I would probably say that might be like 1B or 1C as my favorite or most memorable DJ gig, only because I feel like that was a gig that was a full representation of who I am musically and who I was at 16, 17, and 18 years old. Like, listening to this stuff, listening to guys talk about clothes and fashion that I was just finding out about. Like, it was rap, but it was rock, but it was this and it was that. And, I feel like that's such an age of discovery about oneself. That's an age of influence. And I was heavily influenced by those dudes. So like, to be able to basically play 4+ hours of just like all Neptunes and anybody who's affiliated with that album. Like, I didn't know that Pharrell and them were coming. In hindsight, I kind of should have. I thought it was like a normal New York pop-up. You know what I'm saying? Like, in New York, stuff like that happens all the time. So I remember I was playing and I see like all these like rush of people, and like, so like I did hate this shit. They had me in like this like almost like a plastic doghouse. Like, you remember the theme of the party was like dog themed or whatever.
I think you told this story at the event.
Yeah. Like, they had the I don't know if you can see it, but I had a birthday party last year and this was the flyer. So it was like that, right?
Yeah.
So they put me in the DJ booth was in a doghouse. So I was actually like quite isolated from like everyone else in the party. But I remember just seeing like all these people and stuff, and I was like, what's going on? And then like it was just mad cameras and shit, and like the cameras kind of parted, and then it was Pharrell. And like, in typical Pharrell fashion, he just starts coming over and just starts like bowing and shit. And I'm like, Pharrell, why are you bowing to me, bro? Like, and he was just like, yo, like, I heard they had a DJ, but I didn't know it was bringing Cory Townes. And like, we had a chance, we dabbed for a second, we talked for a second, and I just remember like, I remember feeling coming over me in the sense of, I'm like, yo, I'm about to wild out. Like, if there's ever a time for me to play any Neptune song I ever want to play in life, I'm playing it. And I would say like, yo, like the next like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I'm playing records that I don't think anybody's ever heard live out loud. And it's like, because we made the collection, like my shit is deep. So there would be points like, Midnight Hour is one of my favorite records ever.
Same.
I think we talked about this at Midnight Hour is one of my favorite records, one of my favorite beats ever. And I played it during a point, like, I didn't know this, but I played it at a point where Pharrell was walking past the DJ booth to go take pictures with Nigo and them by the big ass dog. And he heard it and he was like, oh. And I was like, listen, listen, man, if I never tell you this is one of my favorite beats ever. And he was just like, wow. Like, wow. He went to go take pictures, came back. Wow. And then it became a thing where, and it's crazy to see, like, I've seen him do it, but then I saw like, people taking recaps and stuff. He's literally talking to everybody he came with. And he's like, yo, he playing shit I haven't heard in 10 years. Like, there was a point where him and Push, and I had a chance to meet Push before too. We were on a podcast together for like Spotify like a couple years back. Him and Push are talking like, yo, this nigga got everything. And all of a sudden, all I hear is Cory. And I'm like, yo, and I turn to Push. He's like, yo, you got pussy? And I was like, do I got pussy? Nigga, the fuck? I was like, oh, Clips record. I was like, do I got pussy? Yeah. Immediately, boom. He's like, this nigga, like, no one has that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was really special to me to see. It really just makes you realize, with all the stuff that, not even all the stuff these people have done, the fact that they've been, working in this manner for, 20 plus years, almost 30 years, creating music, the output of creating music and stuff like that, to see them kind of fan out, to see them like kind of reminisce, like, damn, remember who we was when, we've been in, and, even before he left, we had a chance to talk and stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, he was like, you were playing shit that I haven't heard in a long time. And like, to kind of get like, in a way, to kind of provide that for someone the same way that like I feel that, it was a top 5 DJ experience ever. You know what I'm saying? And like, I thank, and I've, it's very rare that you have a chance to thank people for the impact they have on your life. I thanked him personally, for everything that his music has been able to expose me to, how it shaped me, even literally, how it's allowed me to not necessarily have a career, but like it's just shaped my overall musical makeup. And I would not be where I am musically without the Neptunes. And so to be able to kind of like, express that, to be able to kind of communicate that to him, for me, it's just like, yo, I don't know where our roads intertwine in the future. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Like, but I can at least say that, like, I was able to get flowers how and whenever I could.
That's a huge reason why this podcast exists, just the thankfulness and the gratitude, right? Like, obviously it's special for me being a kid from Virginia. Mm-hmm. Really, me and my boys say this all the time, is like, Pharrell said, my nigga, you could do it too. And we take that very literally. Like, we take that to heart in so many different ways in the way that we live our lives. So like, that's just a dope moment to hear you be able to share that and give him his flowers, like really dope. Let's get into a specific part of the conversation today. So coming up on the 20th anniversary of Clones, which we all know.
That is crazy. 20 years is nuts, bro.
20 and just all the things that came from that album, the time stamp of all the different records and the cultural impact and the people that were on the album. Talk about some of your memories from that time, but also just like your memories of when that first dropped.
Man, so that's 03?
Yeah, summer 03.
Damn. Wow. All right, so I mean that's 03. That is what my sophomore, I guess the summer. So I guess I would be going into my junior year of high school. At this point, I'm all Neptunes out. I'm in it. I'm down. I'm like, yo, whatever they got, I'm buying it. And I remember, of course I might be wrong, just not really thinking about it. I remember that was the first time I ever saw an album by producers. Most times it's like, okay, yeah, like, and it really just goes to show the impact that those guys had at the time of, the stats will come out later, like they owned like, I think 80% of the charts one year, like of every song that was charting was like their music and shit. So like to be able to say like, yeah, we're producers, but we're producers who can come out with an album. I think I didn't realize how important that was, but I think that might have been the first time that I've ever seen that. And again, I always look at Clones as like, Clones was just different. Like it was a true compilation album in every sense of the word. When you look at everybody that they had on it, from the Clips to Ab Lava, if I'm not mistaken, was that good? Was Good Charlotte on there?
No, Good Charlotte is on.
Good Charlotte was on Fly or Die. But like to have the high speed scene, I don't even know who they are. But like to have the high speed scene, I remember just hearing it like, yo, this is some rock shit. But like before the high speed scene,
yeah, and the spot,
or right after is like Loser and stuff like that. Like, when I think of like, you had the Clips records, you had Nori on there, you had Popular Thug, like you had these, and I'm literally looking at my DJ setup right now at these records. Like that was Rock and Roll's like first placement. First of all, Rock and Roll, I think, is like a top 5 Neptunes record for me personally. It was a compilation. Like it was almost like they doubled down on what they did on their debut album, and was like, because like I always look at it like NERD is the group and Neptunes are the producers. So it's like that wasn't a nerd album, that was the producer's album. So it's like they took what their, I guess, their essence was from the first album and doubled down and like kind of shared it amongst all these different artists. Like still to this day, like the run from Rock and Roll to the Donna Dons, because Jadakiss and Supercat went stupid. Crazy. Hot Damn, which I always say is better than Cot Damn, because it was Mad Philly on there between Ab Lava and Roscoe P. Coltrane, who's also an incredibly underrated, aspect of the Star Trek experience. I'm glad he's out of jail and shit like that now. Like I only could wonder what his career would have been like had he not gone in. Like that, this run is stupid. Like Rock and Roll, the Donna Dons, Hot Damn, Put 'Em Up is crazy. Pop shit was a little bit too eccentric for me, but I wasn't really a Dermot McGirt fan, in full transparency. And then you go into like Popular Thug. Like I think Clones might have been, knowing what I know now and how we know music, like Clones might have been my first ever compilation album. And it really, I think, like in hindsight, and when you look back at it, it really kind of stamped the Neptune sound for me and showed the diversity of the Neptune sound to me and just showed that there's more than like Black music isn't rap music. You know what I'm saying? Like, or isn't just rap music. Like Black music can be Black music in all forms. Like the rock records on there were very much like rock records. But it's like, it was all encompassing under the banner of the Neptune sound.
Right. So it's third, Loser is a rock record that has Clips verses on it, right? Like,
oh, that's the joint. You gotta win. They went crazy on that. That's not, oh yeah, like
both, like everybody snapped them. Like I did some research and read a couple articles that were like kind of lukewarm on the compilation. Like for me, like you said, I never really remember growing up there being a compilation that was like, all right, we are the guys that produce these records and we're making an album. It was like I had the Source Hip Hop Hits Volume 2, which was dope. I had like the hottest records in 1998 on it, but that ain't the same thing as like some guys who made the music putting together all these people and like really making a dope,
especially back then. Like now of course, like that it kind of, I don't want, and again, we're talking expressively in the moment right now, so like this isn't like, don't fact check us and be like, them niggas didn't know what they was talking about. This is all just flowing conversation. But it's like when you think about what and where the landscape of I can say that the Neptunes made it so in rap music for producers to be artists. Mm-hmm. Like full stop. Anybody that can kind of counter that, like, of course you have someone like Kanye West who doubled as such, but like the Neptunes were producers and they was like, hey, we're gonna do this and make artists and we're gonna make money doing this, and like they found a way to do both of the things. So it's like when you look now, yeah, you're gonna see mad people. You go from the Metro Boomers, Pierre Bournes, shit. You can even put like the DJ Khaled's in there, like Calvin Harris. Like now it's spanning, different genres of music. You know what I'm saying? But like that's kind of the Neptunes way, where it wasn't a genre of music. Neptunes made pop records the same way they made, rap records the same way they made Spanish records. Like, they've touched so many different artists and so many different, I guess, like styles. But yeah, like, it kind of set a precedent for that, I think.
Even the people you named afterwards, no one really has a distinctive style as an artist, even if they are producing as well. It's like the Neptunes have such a strong voice on their own. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I had the same experience that you guys had, in that it was my first compilation album, but it all felt so cohesive in a way that like the only other compilation albums was Listen to the Source. But I would hear like soundtracks, and it's a very different feeling. It's different producers, different artists, all of that. It didn't feel connected, but everything they do always feels like it goes together, whether it's the producers or the artists.
Thinking back to that time, like I'm a year older than y'all, so like that was going into my senior year of high school. So you know the energy that you have going into senior high school. Like this is my year. Like this one. The summer, like that August, right before school's about to start again, set me up with a different type of like energy. Like in the parking lot of high school with this album bumping. Like something I realized listening to it this week is just how dope it is that the intro is like a tribute to the 4-count whole sound. Like when you go back and you think about everyone is finally catching on to that whole thing years later. That we
first off, I'm like, and that's when I knew. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm different, man. Because I was like, yeah, how could y'all not tell that this is their thing? I'm seeing clips on like Genius, and here's the sneaky Neptune sound. I'm like, yeah, niggas, the 4-count. Like y'all ain't know it's the 4-count. I knew it's the 4-count. Like I thought everybody knew the 4-count. So yeah, man. I mean, the funny thing is that like that the initial version of that record is mad short. I know mad people that looped it. They was like, man, we looping this. Like, I have a version of that on my computer somewhere where it's an hour long. I have a version that it's like an actual like 3-hour beat. Like, cause it's a very Neptunes beat. And I remember it was that might have been not even a minute long. It may have been 30 to 45 seconds. Yeah. So you got that on there? I could cue it up.
It's 26 seconds.
26 seconds. Like that is crazy. Like,
yeah, my little homie that's been on the show, my little brother from high school, Chance Fisher, I helped him with his rap career back in the 2010s, and he put out a project, and that was the first song on the project, looped it, and went crazy on it.
That's how you do. And I remember that was the thing, right? Because then you got guys, especially of those eras, like especially of that era, that they would rap on these obscure beats. They would rap on these obscure like Neptunes beats, like almost like the If You Know, You Knows. I remember a dude who was really good at that was like to do Curtains. Like I remember Curtains used to run with like pushing them. Like I know he was really known in like the fashion, like he was like one of the first like rap fashion dudes I remember seeing like in like blog era in New York. But Curtains was nice, and Curtain would rap on like mad different beats, like Wale rap on mad different, you know what I'm saying, Neptunes beats and stuff like that.
When I was helping Chance Fisher out with his record, we had that Midnight Hour instrumental ripped from somewhere, and he never got to it. I was like, bro, like don't, I could go on a whole nother rant about the missed opportunity.
You need to call him tonight and be like, yeah, you need to go find that and do that just to do it. I don't like, and I always, it's Vanessa Marquez, ain't it? Or was that Natasha Ramos?
Natasha
Ramos. I always wonder what would have happened had that song found someone else. Man. I feel like there wasn't a lot of direction for her, you know, for whatever the reason. But like, it's such a good just song. Like, it's such a good melody. Like, and it was one of, is, you know, people have asked me over the years, you know, what's your 10 favorite? And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'll drive myself crazy. I know songs that are there, you know, because then it's like if you're asking me what are the best songs, what are my favorite songs, what are my favorite beats, I feel like the two of them are very different. You know, like I would probably say Popular Demand might be one of my favorite beats, but I don't know if it's one of my favorite sons. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just different. Like I think I Still Love You probably falls in both of those categories. But you know, Midnight Hour, bro, like that shit just like, yeah. I can only imagine what, or like you know, I like the fact, and I'm starting to realize that now, like I like when things are more niche and, you know, more counterculture and like kind of like if you know, you know, because I feel like we're so exposed to everything that like you have moments where, you know, I could play that out and somebody comes up to, yo, I ain't never heard this, and it's just like, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
But that Clones intro is definitely one of them ones too. Like,
well, now I'll be an annoying person to ask one of the questions you hate. What's your favorite song on Clones and why?
I'll start and tell you what it's not. And this is a hot take.
Come on,
I did not like Light Your Ass on Fire.
Mm-hmm. Huh? Okay.
I did not like, I didn't like it back then. I was just like, in the realm of busy Neptunes beats, I was like, this is on the far end of that spectrum. I was like, yo, this shit is all over the place. Like Busta's just like, it was just a lot. It was a lot. And like, I love Busta obviously on his own. I love Pharrell and them obviously on their own. I love when they do music together. But like Light Your Ass on Fire, I was not a fan of. Now I gotta hear shit out loud. Okay, that's up there. That's okay. Blaze of Glory might be up there. Damn.
Fronting on there. I mean, dog, it's songs on there, man.
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Damn. They should have dropped Frontin' first. Okay. I think damn, dog, that's crazy. My favorite record might have to be Rock and Roll. My favorite record might have, because and I say that because Rock and Roll will go into both lists. If someone were to ask me, like, name favorite Neptunes beats and songs, it would probably be Rock and Roll.
Question is, with or without Lil Flip?
Not like I could do. I mean, he doesn't make the record, but he genuinely adds to the record. Like his verse on there is actually really kind of crazy. But if it wasn't on, he doesn't make the record though. Like I feel like when Wyclef was talking to Dylan, like either you gonna make the song or make the song. Like he don't make the song, but he kind of make the song. Like his second verse on that joint go crazy. But like, yeah, no, Rock and Roll sounds like, you know why I like Rock and Roll so crazy? Because up until that time, and up until I came down there for Something in the Water, I'd never been to the 757. I never been to Virginia. I didn't know nothing about it. And this is another thing I'm talking about, where like things have changed so much. Like you could hear records back in the day and feel a way, but then you could hear records and see the corresponding visuals for it, and it completely enhances, or like it's like, oh, I just like the song, that video was ass. Or you could see it and be like, yo, it makes you like the record a whole lot more. Like Rock and Roll's video, it was like, oh, this looks like Philly. It looks like Philly. Like this could be Philly. Like I see that it's not like the people down there literally look different, but like this is something that's like kind of like relatable. This is like if I go around, you know, to my grandmother's neighborhood or something like that. Like, you know, so I think, yeah, just like, man, like, how you think, what? This shit is crazy. Like it starts crazy, I'm not gonna do that, but it's like I know y'all got editing to do, but it's just like he come in talking so crazy that it's just like, yeah, man, I rock and roll. Rock and roll is my favorite record on Clones. I did not realize that Frontin' is on there, and that's actually really crazy. And I think that kind of should lift the perception of Clones a lot more because of how culturally impactful Frontin' is. But like, yeah, and that's crazy to be like the fact you get Hove. You get O3 Hove to do a song with you on a compilation that has gone on to be. I think Frontin's probably one of Hove's biggest records. I'd probably say top 10. It might edge in the top 5 if you really start crunching numbers. But like as far as one of his biggest records, like culturally across the board, like the impact it had, like people still dress up as the girls in like, Lauren London and Shorty from that video to this day for Halloween. Like,
yeah.
Ain't nobody doing that for change clothes, and I love change clothes, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the fact that Frontin' is on, that's actually really crazy. I did not realize that until tonight. I feel like Frontin' being on that album should raise the quality of that album, raise what people think about that album. But yeah, favorite joint gotta be Rock and Roll by Family. I sneakily feel like Family, this is another hot take. I sneakily feel like Family I would probably say Family might be top 5, like best collection of music that he's ever that has ever worked with, like the Neptunes. Pharrell, I mean, Family's like top 5 because you got records like you got Rock and Roll. I love Fresh and Driving. A song that I don't even know where that song lived. It's probably one of my favorite Neptune songs and beats is Get Busy.
Yes.
Get Busy to this day is probably one of the craziest beats I've ever heard in my life. You got Ambulance, Scrung Out, like Family got shit. So like that's another hot take. I don't know if there's a hot take section in this podcast, but just put it under that.
For me, it's like I don't know how I didn't hear the Family mixtape first, but I first heard the beat for Get Busy, and what made me like realize that it was stamped is it was on one of the Young Money mixtapes.
Wayne rapped over it.
Got on there and
Wayne went crazy. Wayne went crazy on Get Busy.
Goodness,
crazy he sure did. I remember the Wayne version. It was like, I ain't never before. Yeah.
Don't forget the babies. What that's on the pilot.
Yeah, he went crazy on Get Busy, which is I hate sounding like an old nigga, but there's times where I feel like an old nigga. I miss when artists would do freestyles on other people's beats, and that is something that does not happen anymore.
Yeah.
At all. No one ever just says like it, and it is crazy because it literally just doesn't happen. No one is like, yo, I'm about to just freestyle. Like I like that beat. I'm gonna rap on that beat.
Yeah,
just release it. How I'm releasing, like. And the way that music is shared and stuff like that now, like, people be making jokes about Drake all the time. But like I would say I'm a Drake fan. I think I'll always be a Drake fan. Oh, I see your face. You like, I don't know if I like this nigga. That's fair. Like okay, y'all got.
Oh, I'm the biggest Drake fan.
Okay. All right. I thought it was kind of like, I don't know, but I understand
that was admiration.
Drake, one of them dudes, he'd be like, why you do that? But then he'd do something to be like, y'all love Drake. But like, even, having him go on that freestyle platform and rap and then take the freestyle and put it on streaming, like, I hope we see more artists do shit like that. Like, we kind of got off the point. I'm actually still kind of sad we never got Drake and Neptune's songs, but I mean, understandably so.
Get into that drama. We've been a couple times. Like I said, I try to stay away from spicy, but let's.
This is where he stops me.
Go back to the Frank conversation, Vogue. Hit him with that question about Frank.
Okay, in talking about Frank, do you think that's his best solo song? Peace.
Ooh, I think that's it. I would really have to think about what his other solo songs are, starting with like all the ones from In My Mind. Best as in most successful or personal best?
Your personal preference.
Personal best, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's a little bit. All right. So I would probably say my favorite solo song he did is Our Father. I feel like Our Father changed my life. Like,
okay.
Our Father changed, like, because at the time, I just remember that was my freshman year of college. I had an intro to religion class, and we had to do a project. I did a project on Our Father. And one of the things that I talked about was like, this was the first time that I had heard a popular artist, at least like a popular artist that I was like really lock in step with, talk about his relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Like talk about you know, like it's gospel almost in a sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's openly giving praise on the record, like thanking him for his family, thanking him for his success, admitting, you know, the fact that he's like he's obsessed with women and like sin and shit like that. But it's like it's all more so relatable to, you know, at least it was relatable to me as a listener. So like that's probably my personal favorite solo record. I mean, yeah, if you were to ask me, like, I would, yeah, Frontin' is just like, Frontin' is a song that has lasted the test of time.
Yeah.
And I feel like the longer we get out and the more that like even just seeing people talk about Frontin' on Twitter a couple like months ago, I remember, like randomly, and like just talked about how impactful the record is, the video taste. Like that's why I really love like guys like, if there's one person I think I would love to talk to about like Neptune shit, it would probably be Tyler, the Creator. Just because I feel like he's so in step with like he in step how I'm in step. So we would just talk about shit like nigga to something, this, that, and the third. And like, you know, even like I think he wrote something about how the Frontin' video like inspired him to become an artist. You know what I'm saying? So like I do feel like Frontin' is probably P's like his most culturally successful and probably best song.
I'd agree with that. And I want to add another layer to the question because Vaughn taught me recently that P revealed it was originally supposed to be a Prince record.
Yep.
And I'm interested to know, like, what do you think the impact would have been if Prince did take that? Do you think it would have been a better record?
No. Honestly, no. And I feel because, and I'm not just saying that just because of what Pharrell and Jay-Z did on that record, but just like, I think with Prince, it's a totally different sound. I don't even know if we get the same beat, the same. Like I don't know if we get any of that. I don't know what sticks in that record. I don't know what's taken out of that record. I don't know what's kept. Like,
yeah,
it just would have been totally different. So like, I mean, you know, I feel like that's how a lot of music works, especially back then where like producers is making shit in like damn near batches and they're like, oh, we made this beat for such and such, but they bullshitting or like they don't want it or they pass on it. And, you know, they have another session with another artist. Like I've seen and I've heard many a story about that where they're just like, hey, fam, play that again. And now all of a sudden, you know, that's why there's two versions of All Right with Kendrick and Fab. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I once I heard All Right with Kendrick, I don't want to hear the shit with Fab. You know what I'm saying? And that's no shade to Fab, but it's just like, you know, that's kind of like that's what happens when you work with different producers.
Yeah.
I just think we would have got a different song. Like I think so much of it could have been different.
He was definitely talked about that too, about how like
please use the Sonos app.
Please forgive my Sonos. My Sonos heard me talking, whatever. Continue. I'm sorry.
P talks about like, you know, how when you in the studio with them, you gotta be like the artist has to be open to go in a different space. And then sometimes they're not ready for it, but then they hear what somebody else gets from that same beat and they're like, yo, why you ain't playing me that? It's like, nah.
I did. You just wasn't in that. I mean, I think that goes into just how special we do get that now. Like, you know, the Nas and Hit Boy relationship seems very reminiscent of that, right? Like, you know, whether it's, you know, Nas saying, yo, I want something that sounds like this, or if it's, you know, he's just playing a bunch of beats and he picks from it. I feel like that kind of happens a lot more now than it did back then, just because guys were so in their own boxes. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the things that Pharrell has probably been very successful with, at least from the outside looking in, is that like, you know, he can go with a bunch of stuff. Like one of my favorite videos of him ever making music was the behind the scenes video of him doing Finna Get Loose with Diddy.
Yes, love that.
Oh my God. Like that first off,
peak Diddy. He's in there being reckless, got his
Diddy,
shirt.
yo, Diddy was on some shit. Like you could tell Diddy was on some shit. Like he on some shit the whole time. He's like but it's funny because as like it was, the energy was being matched the entire time. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy's being matched the entire time. He's like, yo, I want to give him something they could feel. I want some 1980s drug dealers in Miami. Like he got his shirt off, he dancing his shit. And like the whole time, Pharrell is like laughing, but also giving him what he's asking for. And like, when you look at it, like I can't not hear Finna Get Loose and not think of Diddy Wildin'. And that, you know, that makes me enjoy the record a little bit more. So it's like, I feel like, you know, and there's so many different cases, and I wish we had more instance of that, where it's like, you got that footage where, you know, he's talking about doing Jay-Z's Swan Song album. And he's like, I got something for you. It's like Carlito's Way. He plays him Allure for the first time. Like, that's one thing about me, just as a music lover, is that I consistently hear songs and I always think about, yo, what was that shit like in the studio when they made this? What was that shit like in the studio the first time you heard this beat? Like, I remember Allure was a record that didn't necessarily have to grow on me, but Allure was a record that like I heard kind of later and really grew to appreciate just the depth and the energy of, like, not even just the energy, like Allure is just like some, like, it feels like how he described it. He's like, yo, Carlito's getting away with the bag and he's about to walk off in the sunset, and like you play that and you're just taken to a place of just like, you just feel it's like word. Like, so I mean, I feel yeah, man. I feel like when you have producers like that and when you have guys like that who kind of know what, it's almost like, yo, I want this. Like, I think that a producer's really good at that now, at least from what I've seen, is Kenny Beats. Like, Kenny Beats had that big freestyle session of the freestyle series that he used to do. And like everybody from like Zach Fox, like Vince Staples to whoever, they're just like, I want this. Like Vince Staples, like, I want gangbangers and I want this and I want Big Crippin' on here. And he makes a beat and it sounds like that. Like, or the whole Jesus is the one joint. Like, you know, so I think I always will respect producers in that way, that know how to be themselves, but also give, you know, these talented artists, these equally talented artists, like what they ask for.
Yeah, so sticking with P, right? Like, we just did an episode with me and my friends, Pharrell Raps Bracket. So, you know, fronting is R&B, crooner P, but I think for people like us who are fans, we know that P can get his bars off when he wants to. Like, so what are some of your favorite Pharrell rap performances, whether it's one of his own songs or like a guest verse?
Hot damn.
I'll ruin it and tell you what won the bracket, but just
okay. I really, damn, I should have. I wish I had these questions in advance. I'd actually would have like looked it up and had more prepared answers. But I also like that we're freestyling this. Hot damn comes to mind. He went crazy on hot damn. The freestyle over Liquid Swords on the mixtape, he went crazy on that. Rapping P.
Yeah, man. It's like the tough part about doing the bracket too is that we, just for the sake of
rapping P,
like we take all the mixtape joints out and we just focus on stuff that got released. But we had a whole conversation. Like we like, obviously everything
y'all did the thing.
Everything from the gangster
parameters and stuff.
Yeah, the Gangsta Grills, we know that's at the top of the top. Like those bars on every single song on the Gangsta Grills.
Crazy one. You were crazy on Liquid Swords. Hold on. I'm going to my Neptunes folder. I won't even be able to look at all this. Damn. Yeah, what won? What were some, no, before you tell me what won, tell me what some of the entries were. I'll tell you what I think, what I would have picked, then you tell me what won.
I give you so the bracket, basically this is how it worked. We had me and Vogue, my boys that are on the show, and like just other people that are connected with the show, whether they're fans on social media or actual other former guests, right? I had them rank their favorite. I put together a massive list, the best I could, of like 40, 45 songs, and said, rank these in your top 16, right? I, mathematically computed how to rank them, right?
The computer's pewed. Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you what the final 16 are, and I'm not gonna put it no particular order. I gotta find it because I don't wanna ruin it.
Yeah, I know Hot Damn gotta be on there.
Nah, man, it didn't make the top 16.
Hot Damn? P, imagine the Rolls Royce flashing, me unclasping that billionaire boys confession. You niggas is clones. I hand out styles like ice cream cones. The fuck out of here? What? That's that I don't even know how many bars that was. It might have been what? Imagine the Rolls Royce flashing, me unclasping that billionaire boys confession.
Damn,
that's eight. Is that 8 bars? No, that's 2 bars. Is that 4 bars? I don't even know. He came in, did his thing, and then bounced. That's for real. My Gats is real. The SL5 looked like a Batmobile. Chrome lips with the matching wheel. Like, he gave Push the oop. He gave yo. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I'm actually upset that I was not a part of that, because I would have been like, yo, y'all niggas is wilding. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Damn, we're like, hold on. I gotta find it because I gotta make sure I read them to you in alphabetical order instead of the ranking order, because I don't want to ruin. I want you to go back and listen, man, and catch And
I still think it's their winner.
You niggas cones. I hand out styles like ice cream cones. The fuck out of here. That is crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. Let me.
all right, here we go. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna read you the top 25 songs, and out of these 5 songs, we chose the top 16 by the ranking, and then did it NCAA tournament style, right? Yeah. So these songs, like for everyone listening, and for Cory, but for everyone listening, the songs as I'm reading them, they're in alphabetical order. This is not how they were ranked 1 to 20. Clips, Mr. Me Too, Common, The Announcement, DJ Drama, Cheers, French Montana featuring Pharrell, Bring Them Things, Future Mood That Dope, Lil Jon, Stick That Thing Out, Uzi, Neon Guts, Missy WTF, the Nerd Everyone Knows remix, P's Verses on Lemon by Nerd, the P. Diddy and Lenny Kravitz joint, Show Me Your Soul from the Bad Boy 2 soundtrack. Then from In My Mind, Can I Have It Like That? How Does It Feel? Show You How to Hustle, That Girl. P's guest verse on Ray J, Formal Invite. P guest verse on Robin Thicke, Wanna Love You Girl. Slim Thug, Already Platinum. Snoop, Drop It Like It's Hot. T.I., Amazing. Twista, Give It Up. And Twista, Lavish. Tyler, The Creator, Juggernaut. And Wiz Khalifa, Rise Above.
First of all, niggas don't talk about. All right, so let me ask a question. Are we talking about
rap performance? Is generally
so hooks too.
Rap performance.
Some of these Jones he didn't have verses on, he just had hooks on. That's actually kind of different.
Which one?
He rapped on Rise Above?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, he did rap on Rise Above. He did. I don't even gotta play it. He did.
Pharrell.
He absolutely did. He went crazy. You okay? All right. You know what I will say? I admittedly so. You know who took the cake for me on Rise Above? Motherfucking Amber Rose.
At the end, she was snapping.
Amber Rose, man. I know. Amber Rose was stupid. I just didn't expect it.
Snapping.
What the fuck is wrong with these niggas? Wrong with these niggas? That I always like that shit. He did okay. That's a good list. That's a good list. You said a couple amazing's crazy. Amazing's crazy. Cheers is good.
Cheers is good. Welcome to the city of Vespas and exotic bitches.
Yeah. He went crazy on that. Cheers is good. All right, so what made it to the 16?
Before we get to the 16, I will say P. Diddy, Show Me Your Soul. I think
crazy.
Vastly underrated. And
crazy. It didn't make it.
16. But the fact that it made the top 25, I was comfortable with that. But that joint, and I think a lot has to do because like we live in a different space now. Like that joint ain't on Apple Music. It's on Tidal. It might Spotify. I don't think it might.
Kind of, if you know, you know.
If you know, and the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack was out of here. The movie was crazy.
The soundtrack was nuts.
Shake the Tail Feather was crazy, and this was the last single they dropped on it. Like
the beat on that crazy,
bro.
Yeah, the guitar on that joint was wicked. All right, so wait, what made the 16?
I got it.
See, man, I'm about to start.
All right, top 16. Yeah. This is again for the sake of you and the viewers that have listened to the actual bracket. It's in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Clips, Mr. Me Too, Common, Announcement, Cheers, Move That Dope, Neon Guts, Missy What the Fuck, Nerd Everyone Knows remix, Pharrell and Snoop, That Girl, Ray J, Formal Invite, Robin Thicke, Wanna Love You Girl, Slim Thug, Already Platinum, Snoop, Drop It Like It's Hot, T.I., Amazing, Twista, Lavish, Tyler, Juggernaut, and then Wiz, Rise Above. That was the bracket.
I'll tell you what should, I hope, got farther than it did. His verse on the Missy record. I remember I'm Optimus Prime. I don't remember the words, but he did some dancing on that.
I will say I noticed your face when we said the Ray J joint, and I'm gonna defend that joint.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Here's why it was hot, because you got to remember, almost half of the people that voted for this are my boys, me and my boys from Virginia. So P starts off that verse. It's been a long time since I put Khalees out. I've been in VA banging them 100-grand beats out, and he just snaps from that. Like that sets the, so that has a special
hometown bias in there.
That was a little bit of hometown bias. Like but also like if you listen to it, Ray J's flow is Ray J's rapping on there, and it sounds like he wrote that too. Like it just that's a 16, man. I mean, it was the song.
No, listen, man. I'm not gonna be. I'm not the one who's ever gonna defend like who wrote what for Pharrell or if he. I don't care about that. This is one of the ones I take a blind eye. I don't care. That boy's a producer, and they gave him beats. So
yeah, man. So before we let you go,
You gonna tell the man the winner?
no, I can't tell him the winner, man. I can't tell him. I'll tell you the winner afterwards. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for the listeners.
Can I tell you who? All right.
Tell me who you think should have won, and if you guess it right, I'll tell you if it's right.
List them one more time. I'm trying to list them one more time with a little bit of space so I can try and mentally place the verse.
Clips, Mr. Me Too.
Okay.
Common, The Announcement.
I do not remember that verse, but okay.
DJ Drama, Cheers.
Cheers is up there.
Future, Move That Dope.
Move That Dope. I wouldn't be surprised if Move That Dope made it to the final four if it didn't win at all.
Uzi, Neon Guts.
Okay.
You said Missy, what? WTF?
He went stupid. He started tap dancing on that joint.
Nerd, Everyone Knows remix.
I can't even drama. Everybody would have knows me. Was that him?
Nah.
Y'all niggas okie, not these okie. Y'all niggas okie dokie.
P is You Left Your Nigga Home.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was Push I just rapped. 100. Oh yeah, On Fire. Okay, that was his. Okay.
Pharrell, That Girl, which my boys were like, one of my boys was really like, he was hurt that was the only joint from In My Mind to make the top 16.
It's good. Yeah, I kind of would have put. I think I kind of would have put Can I Have It Like That on there personally. Like
he snapped. That was something that we talked about. That was a hard process.
And the hard admittance.
It was hard because it's like when you put the In My Mind songs up, when it's like a whole song of P rapping up against like some of these like really ridiculous just guess verses. It's like,
and how does it feel? Didn't make it that either.
It didn't make the top 16. It made the top 25, but didn't make the top 16.
Okay. All right. So That Girl.
We talked about Ray J Formal Invite. I've Been Thick, Wanna Love You Girl. Slim Thug Already Platinum was very. That's a classic one. Obviously, Snoop Drop It Like It's Hot is iconic. T.I. Amazing. He rapped on there.
Yeah, crazy though, that joke. Okay.
Twista Lavish, which is he snapped on that joint.
Yeah.
Tyler Juggernaut, I think I personally had that high on my list because I like really
need to listen back to that.
I really appreciate what Tyler is and what he means to us right now, but also like the fact that he's one of Pharrell's kids and he got a chance to be on a record with him and everybody snapped like. But then the last one was Wiz, Rise Above.
I think out of all of them, and this is me just like kind of thinking essentially for people, like thinking like what like if I was how would people think about this? Part of me is really going towards Move That Dope. I feel like Move That Dope, because when I think Move That Dope kind of checks a couple boxes. Move That Dope is a rap record through and through. I feel like Move That Dope, there's quality rapping from other people on that record. And I feel like that is a joint that I could see people giving weight to. Number one, because it's a good song, good verse, all that. But it's almost like P held his own on Move That Dope with everybody. And if we're talking about just strictly, I mean, you said vocal performance. So I mean, that kind of like leaves room for interpretation. I would probably say Move That Dope.
Move That Dope got knocked out in the first round.
Damn, that is crazy.
But it was an upset. I'm not gonna tell you what the upset is, but it was an upset.
So when are you gonna announce who won, or like I need to know? I mean, you're gonna tell me after, but like when does this get announced?
Probably will. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, I'll put the bracket out. Just like I like when we did the clips bracket last year, and like we just kind of eased, just reminding people to go listen to it, posted the bracket, and then some clips from it. But
what is the next bracket? Because I want parts.
Listen.
Oh, I had an idea and I forgot it.
Me and Vogue were just talking about that. Like we might try to do it big, like get some people together in person. Because first of all, me and Vogue have only done an episode together in person one time in 3 2. And so we talked about, and it's also a running joke that my boys, because they're knuckleheads, always be like, yo, when can we get Vogue? We trying to get Vogue in the room for the bracket. Thirsty ass.
You trying to get Vogue in the room. good. I understand. I understand, brothers. Proceed.
We trying to get Vogue can bring her friends, so I'm like, yo, y'all gotta relax, man. Like, but so we were just talking about that. Me and Vogue was talking about like we gotta really be really intentional and like really spend some time on what the next bracket is, but then like try to figure out how to blow it up because it's such a fun experience for me personally because I'm blessed to be back in Virginia and be able to see those guys more often. But like before that, the past two versions of the episodes I did with my boys is like an excuse for me to come back home and see them like for one or two times, like one of the 2 or 3 times a year that I get to see them. So bracket next year's got to be big. So we're going to try to make it big. Like, we're going to try to invite as many people from the family, the podcast family to come out, man. I keep you posted, bro. You're going to at least be able to contribute. You're going to at least be able to vote at a minimum.
I'm going to tell you right now, when we're done recording, I'm about to just sit in my studio and just play mad, like, just beats. Like, even if you send me the bracket, without even who won it, you send me the bracket, I will listen to all these joints tonight because I don't remember his verse on Juggernaut. I'm trying. You said another one that I'm like, I don't remember the Common John. How did the what song was it?
It's got an old school type vibe to the beat and Peak. Like we talked about, he channels a little bit of BIG in his flow, and it's like it's
okay. That's crazy. Move That Dope got kicked out first round. That's nuts.
I wasn't happy.
Yeah, that's kind of wicked. I'm not gonna hold you. That's like Move That Dope was he went crazy on that.
Yeah, man. We talked a little bit about like I'm gonna call the audible real quick, bro, because we could do this all night. Like that's having guests on that are passionate and love the music. So you talked about your favorite collaborator, one of them being Family. Any other people that like who do you think like there's a difference? This is the question that there's a difference between best and favorite, right? Like that one of your favorite collaborators is Family, but who do you think is the best that has either no misses or like limited misses that has like a bunch of records with them?
Give me what's a bunch? Like what designates a bunch?
I say a bunch is probably
more than what, 3, 4?
3 to 5 or more.
3 to 5 records or more. It's a good question. I think Hove would be up there just because you just got that's like Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. Like you just got like 2 of the best at what they do just working together. Hove would be up there. I mean, shit. No, I wouldn't say the best. It was probably more than him. I was gonna say with the work that they did on Already Platinum, Slim Thug probably got sneakily, but not sneakily, has one of the best collections of work with Pharrell and them. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. That's a hard. I would really have to sit and think about that.
Hard question, man. Like, because again, I think it comes down to. I think when you start talking about the best, you have to have the conversation of Snoop and Jay, just because it gets to be like a quantity versus quality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Snoop would probably be up there.
The Snoop got
they got a whole album, but that would probably be the one reason why I would put Jay probably over Snoop is because they don't have they have a whole collection of work together. So like it's more opportunities to kill shit when it's just like us 2 locked in. Yeah, that's rough. Because like I mean. One could say Pusha T, but that's almost not fair. Because what I also think of is just like who's the talent on the artist side. Like, see, and I don't even know how many records they had together. I was about to say Missy. I've always liked On and On. On and On might be one of my favorite Neptunes beats ever too. That shit was stupid. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be very hard. That'd be really hard to think about. I think off the top of my head, I would have to say Jay-Z probably just because like it's high. Their misses are high mid. You gotta do it up here. It's high mid. This is a high mid.
Yeah, we've done this thing where at the start of every season we've tried to answer this question by having like a versus style with some frequent collaborators. So obviously the first one we did was that top of the top Jay versus Snoop, but then we also did Busta and Nori, and then this past season we did T.I. and Nelly.
That was a good one.
Like
that's T.I. won that.
That wasn't a competition. It's more like we just go through.
That's hard though. That's wicked though. That's like Nelly's bangers are bangers. I think Nelly's bangers are bangers, but I think T.I. might have the better music. Like, because the first thing that comes to my mind is like Good Life. Sneaky record. Niggas don't think of Good Life. Like Good Life, crazy.
Amazing. Like
amazing, crazy. Like, yeah, but shit.
But hey,
hot in her.
here or that drop down and get your eagle on comes on though. Yo, listen.
Look, Vogue almost bust down just now.
I'm ready. I'm in position.
Yeah, like
listen, last month I was in Dominican Republic for my big cousin's wedding, and I'm talking about
oh shit, darling.
40 and 50-year-old people. And it's funny. I'm glad I get to tell this story on the podcast because I tweeted, got some love, but I want to make sure people understand what happened. So the wedding was it's a destination wedding. It's just like it's a group of people who are there on a trip that are only there for the wedding. And so the wedding happens, and me and Kia were like, yo, we hot and we tired. Like, we going back to the room. I'm gonna change clothes and we'll come back to the reception. So I get there and like, mind you, I want you to understand that part of this group of people that are there are my 70-year-old mother. Like, she's part of the party. Like, she's like my cousin who got married, big sister. So she's in the mix with us. So I'm aware of this whole situation. So when I come back and I'm just looking at them, it's DMV vibes. So they're playing go-go. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they playing like go-go that was playing at Hampton when they was there. So I'm like, that's
like
cool.
Chuck Berry and them.
Yeah, like they playing EU and like they're in the go-go bag. And I felt them. So then once the go-go like faded, my cousin's husband like was playing from his phone and he like just randomly like he just dropped 2 back-to-back Chris Brown deep cuts that I had never heard. And I was just like, yo. I walked up to the table, I was like, yo,
what you want right now?
Kia, I was like, Kia, I should probably just go DJ. She's like, yeah, you should. I was like, but do I really want that pressure? She's like, yeah, you can do it. So I go up there and I was like, cuz, like, you want me to just do it? Like, she's like, yeah, you can do it. And so I take the phone over and
you felt the power of the party in your hands.
So she said, like, yo, couple bad jobs for real. He takes and like hypes me up. My little cousin is so talented and he's gonna DJ for the rest of the night. He has a podcast about music in the Neptune. I'm so happy and so proud of him. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my gosh, dog. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, she set me up. I gotta drop Neptune. So I dropped Beautiful, Excuse Me, Miss. And this is the second bad job, right? One of the dudes that was there, one of my cousin's best friend, and me and him connected early because he went to Hampton too. And he comes up and he asked me to play a song, and I'm like, ugh. And so like I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he's close to my cousin, so he's gonna ask for a song that he knows that they're gonna want to hear. And it dropped everything. It was like a really slow song from that. And him and this lady was like stepping and like, and I was like, my cousin and her husband came up to me and was like, yo, what is this? Next song I played was Back the Ass Up, and I went on a twerk run that was insane. Next thing I know, I was on like my third Yin Yang Twins joint, and I was like, "What is happening?" At this
point, you caught a stride. You are like now you know. No. You already know what the direction you want to go in. Like you like, all right, I'm about to hit him with this. You start thinking 2-3 songs ahead.
Listen, I had a whole playlist on my phone called "The Origins of Twerk," and I was on a.
That's crazy. I need to see that. That's hard.
To me.
On the second,
send that.
One of my cousin's friends came up and was like, I want to hear you got Bad by Yin Yang Twins and Mike Jones. I was like, yo, that's coming up next. Had it on the playlist already. It's like, yo, it's time to go. But you know it came out. Drop that and get your eagle on. Well, came out as a request. I was like, yo, I got you. It's nothing.
Well, listen, do you hear it? Okay, all right.
Bro.
For everyone who's listening to this podcast, right? I just want you guys to know what you just listened to is Vaughn becoming a DJ in real time. And the reason why I say that is because there is a certain aspect of, I'll call community service when it comes to playing music for people.
Service is the right
word. In a perfect world, there should be a certain level of trust between the people who are listening and the person who's playing. It's one of the main reasons why I don't do weddings anymore, only because it never has had anything to do with the couples themselves. The couples themselves, they've always been like close friends of mine or, you know, frat brothers of mine or something like that I've done. It's never them. It's always the attendees. Because what happens is that they get into a moment and they get into a mood. They're probably some sort of something, intoxicated or whatever, where they look at the person who's playing music as their own personal iPod, where they say, hey, you're playing music of a particular genre right now. The 40 to 100 people in this place are loving the music you're playing right now. but I want you to play this song that is totally unlike what everything you're playing. And I just want you to play it right now. And it gets to the point, like anybody that's been to a wedding, I've DJ'd, I've done 4 weddings. Each wedding, I've had to get on the microphone and say, yeah, I don't take requests. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Like, if you're not Mr. and Mrs. such and such, I don't take, please don't ask me for requests. Cause I, like, 9 times out of 10, I know everything that, first off, they want to listen to. And then I can fill in the gaps. But the thing that made me really happy about this is that your demeanor completely changed from the moment when you first started playing the music to that point where you got on that run where you like, oh, I already got it queued up. First, you went from like, I don't know if I want the pressure. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm not sure. You sure, cuz? Next thing you know was, yo, I already got that. Chill out. I got you, fam. Like, your whole demeanor changed. But that right there, there is a certain feeling like, listen, man, I often say DJing for a crowd of people is like, for lack of a better phrase, it's like almost intoxicating. You almost get drunk off that shit because what you don't, and not to get too like spiritual or whatever, but like when like playing music, there's almost like a transfer of energy between the person who's playing and the crowd. I particularly like to play venues where I can feel the crowd's energy. I've like outside stuff, like even if it's outside, like during the Roost picnic, I couldn't really feel the crowd's energy like that. The first, I remember like it took me, I had to do different things in order to feel their energy like that. But if I'm in like a venue and I can feel, you feel it when you play a record and like the swell of everybody, like, oh, like you feel that. And when you feel that, it does something in you that you be like, all right. It's not even calm. It's like, I got this. So then you start working and operating from a point of perspective where you know where you want to go. Like the fact that you already had that Yin Yang record already queued up, you knew where you wanted to go. And the funny thing is that they knew where they wanted you to go. And you already got it. And then once you hit people with that, like, I got it. Don't even trip. Now it's almost like if dealing cards was a sport. Like, it's almost like, you want another one? Take another one. If you want that, hold that. Like, it's the best thing in the world, man. And like, no bullshit. I don't know. I always have a thing where I say every single person in the world is a DJ because we all listen to music differently. The only difference between you and a DJ is that me as a DJ, I know how to play music and communicate with my hands. Literally being able to touch equipment, knowing what certain things do, knowing how to do this, that, and the third. But it's like, from a musical perspective, all of us are DJs. Y'all too, everyone listening to this podcast, like, I taught myself DJing by specifically playing all Neptunes music. Why? Because this is music I've listened to and I knew front and back for the last 20-some years of my life, right? So I'm really happy. Like, I don't even know if that was the end of the story, but I just saw how, like, that changing your behavior, like, yo, like, we all heard it. You was like, I don't know if I want the pressure. Should I go do this? And it was like, yo, chill. I got it. Shout out to cuz. You heard. Like, that was love, bro. I'm happy for you.
That's so much appreciation and respect for DJs. Like, so to wrap up that story, like, last song of the night I played was Swag Surf, and that's the first time in my life I've ever heard Swag Surfing all the way through, and like, which was crazy to just crazy to me in general. But like I said, I got so much appreciation for DJs because of my godbrother DJ Arness, who's been on the show before. Like, just being around him, and he has helped my ear to know good DJs when I hear him. Like, you can know blends, you can know, like, you know, the balance between, like you said, selection and being a technician, and how you have that balance when you're performing and trying to move the crowd. But I did a little bit of that same DJ. I was DJ Skateboard V at Hampton University at my boys' cribs, where, and you'll appreciate this because I'm sure you've been through this, but like, the one thing I loved about DJing in college, but specifically DJing at an HBCU at Hampton University, is, and me and Justin talked about this all the time, it's like the different regional sounds that we consumed and got exposed to during those 4 years. But then taking on this DJ role at house parties and being able to react to who's the primary region in the room, or being able to have that space where you know how the Cali people go and they need to hear, you know,
they need to hear certain records that's specifically for them.
They need to hear Tell Me When to Go, you know what I'm saying? And like, oh, are you in the room with the Houston people where you need to go on a Mike Jones run and you need to go on a Slim Thug run? Or are you in there with the Jersey, New York cats, and you got your Rockefeller bag tucked you got your toe wop, like Rumi Ma, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just being able to have that and being able to touch those different regions was like part of the reason why I love that experience, but also why I have so much of appreciation for what DJs do, because it's so difficult. But like a big point of this whole conversation with you is like it's so worth it though.
Absolutely. It's the most fulfilling. Like I've been able to achieve many things in life, man. Like, you know, I play high school sports. I joined a fraternity in college. You know, I've done shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've hit a game-winning bucket at the playground. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that has brought me fulfillment and has brought me happiness and has brought me like joy and all these things, right? But nothing has ever did it like DJing does. And you know, again, it's like it's a synergy thing. It's an energy thing. It's a thing where it's like I feed off of crowds and crowds feed off of me. Like, you know, I know when, you know, I feed off of emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's times where, you know, I'm at a gig and like the DJ before me smashed it, like, you know, it ain't a thing where I'm like, oh shit, they smashed it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But there's this part of me that I'm like, I feed off that energy and you feel like, and you take it and you channel it. And like, I know when I'm about to like smoke some shit. Like I know when I'm like a couple songs in, or it's like a couple whatever, or like you can just feel it, you know. And it's so fulfilling. It's mad fulfilling. I don't take it for granted. You know, I appreciate whenever, you know, someone decides like, you know, to come up to me mid-set and, you know, daps me up like, hey, that was cold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's you talk to people and it's communication. And, you know, oftentimes I find myself at the end of the set, like I'm just like, I'm done. And you feel like that energy's been expunged. You feel like I got that out. So I'm glad yo, man. And I mean, you know, for you, bro, like no bullshit. Like to be able to do that for someone's wedding is not easy. Like weddings, that's someone's night. That's someone's moment. Like that is two people's moment, you know, that they're gonna remember for the rest of their life. And a lot of pressure comes with that. You know, I've been very blessed to, you know, the weddings that I've done. I know I've rocked them joints, and I still get people to come to, hey, who's the wedding that such and such is? Hey, he was cold. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the greatest thing in the world. So like for you to experience that, man, I'm happy you got a chance to do that, bro. That's ill. And I promise you, the same way your folks are gonna be like, yo, V killed it. It's the same way you never gonna forget your cousin's man who came with some bullshit and was like, yo, played it. You never gonna forget that about him. Like yo, to this day, there's a wedding that I did, and a guy came up to me. I forgot what I was playing, and I know him. I don't know him like too well. We knew each other back in college, but he was a friend of the groom. He comes up to me and he's like, hey man, can you? I forgot what I was playing, but just know what he requested was totally not that. It was totally opposite. He's like, hey man, can you play that African song with the African dance? And I was like, what? And he's like, yo, you know what I'm talking about? Like, play the African song with the African dance. So I get tight. I get immediately tight. I'm like, every African song I feel like has an African dance. Like, what are you talking about? Ironically enough, I knew the record he was talking about. He was talking about Jerusalem, the joint with Burna Boy, the shit they got the whole like line dance and stuff. Of course, I play it at another point of the night, and he comes up running to me. Yeah, that's it. And I'm just like, so I say what I had to say. You never gonna forget that experience with Mans. Y'all might become best friends. You may never see him again. You randomly gonna be like, hey, remember that time that nigga came and played some stepping record and I had to change the whole party out? I'm glad you did that, bro. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Means a lot, man. For real. Go ahead, bro. Let's hit him with the last question, man.
I just want to say I'm proud of you too, Vaughn. To close out the night, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't take you back home. So I guess we want to know, what do you think the best Neptunes Pharrell collabs are with a Philly artist?
What comes to mind? Don't Stop by Beanie Siegel. Philly Celebrities by Philly Most Wanted. I don't think Freeway and Pharrell did anything. No. Damn. Yeah. Shit. I'm trying to think of Philly art. That's not his song. Oh well, no. A personal favorite would probably be Ghostmakers by Philly Most Wanted and Roscoe P. Coltrane. It's like a deep cut. They killed that though. I'll probably say Don't Stop. Don't Stop. Don't Stop. Don't Stop Crazy. Don't Stop Crazy. Don't Stop with Beanie Siegel crazy.
Don't Stop is such a it's such a dope record because it really is like that example of P bringing a different side out of somebody. Like the formula.
Like they had grimy ass beans talking about 3-piece suits and hats. Like I just imagine my going like a church pimp. Like you don't dress like that, nigga. Like, but it sounded good. Like
they had Beans make a 2-step record. Like what?
even his flow on like the little bridge, like what was it? Those on the ends of when they come out, and then there's other things that they rapping about. True player for real. Hey, stay out my face. You know the so-fi on my waist. Like that joke crazy. He was crazy. Like, yo, he went crazy. Yo, he went crazy. I played that as soon as we got the phone. I think off the top of my head, I'll probably say Don't Stop by Beanie Siegel. Philly Celebrities is up there. Yeah, man, I would really have to like that might be like a playlist on its own for me, like songs that Pharrell did with folks from the crib. But yeah, don't stop is probably it.
You know, I love all of them joints, all of them Philly's Most Wanted joints, man. Like Gangsters for the Gangsters, man. Like, right. Come on, man.
What was the other shit? It's not Cross the Border.
Please don't
mind. Please Don't Mind might be up there too. I think Mine might be up there more than Philly Celebrities.
Yeah, man. Right. You could turn the mic down a little bit. Like
started off crazy.
And
then I know he told him when he was done, yo, keep that. keep that.
Yeah, man. I always think about the Roscoe joint Delinquent because that was like when I moved to Philly, that was a dope moment to hear. Like he has a line in there about I want the crib in Conshohocken, and I was like, oh yeah, like I know what he's talking about now.
I know that.
That's place you want to live, like for real. Like
also thinking our itching to get you is probably up there for me.
Yes.
Itching to get you beat crazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I think one of the most like one of the things about Philly artists, especially specifically Philly rappers, is like, you know, a large part of what made them so good has in some ways have kind of held them back, you know, not speaking on nobody else's cases or anything like that. But like, you know, Roscoe going in when he did, I think like that changes a lot. Like Roscoe was probably one of the last, if I'm not mistaken, one of the last signees for Star Trek, like official. Like he was on a couple of features and I think they was like, no, let's like bring him on. Like I can only imagine what the level of rapping that he did, the level of rapping that he had, like, who's to say Roscoe isn't a part of the Re-Up gang? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where you start. Like, we're not even talking about work that he does specifically with the Neptunes and Pharrell and them. But even when you look at the opportunities he did get with, you know, on them beats, like, it wasn't too many other cats rapping like Roscoe was. So, you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, I think it's probably one of my biggest, like, what ifs about Star Trek records for real.
Yeah, for sure. Roscoe definitely is a favorite. Definitely had an unconventional flow, but he always brought something that made you pay attention and like be like, yo, he's going in right now. Like
you said you're a gangster. I can't tell. Your Jews don't shine when the light hit it. Them Jews aren't genuine because if they was, I'm nice with it. I would have been took that. Like he wasn't gonna go crazy.
Oh, come on.
Said, what is the feds watching over snow wrapped in wax? Like, yeah, his flow is crazy.
Flow is crazy. Just
flow is crazy. Bar is crazy. I mean, Philly, I'll probably say is a city that probably has the top 3, I think, best rappers like come out of Philadelphia. Like all of our rappers are really, really good, like insanely good. Like everybody from that era, everybody from the mixtape and like the battle rap era. It's so many dudes that, you know, it's so many dudes that rappers now be like, yeah, like I liked him, or I used to watch the DVDs and watch him. Like, you know, guys that, you know, never had a chance to make it on the main stage, but like it's so many. Like one thing I will say to like, you know, anybody who's listening to this, like if you ever want to go back in time and like really hear good rapping, if you ever go on like YouTube and look up the old Too Raw for the Streets, like battle DVDs and stuff like that, like you're gonna see a very young Meek Mill on there. But because those freestyles were made, you know, in the early 2000s, you hear a lot of guys going over Neptunes beats and like absolutely smash them. So, you know, if you want to take a little trip down memory lane but really hear some good rapping on Neptunes beats, man, Too Raw for the Streets and like the Headshot tapes and stuff like that. Really good joint.
Bro, this is
Listen, man.
we so
Listen, this been so long in the making, like, you know, and I'm honored. You know, I do thank y'all for like even like, you know, just having me on y'all joint, man. Like, you know, one thing I feel like I could do forever is talk about music. So like, I'm looking forward to this.
yeah, man.
You might have to cut it into 2 parts, but I'm willing to listen to 2-part joints.
Bro, we covered so much dope stuff, man. Like, can't thank you enough for your time, man. Like, again, like this is a perfect example of what the show is really all about. Is like the community aspect of how music brings people together from all over the world, basically. And there's the commonality, and you know, and even you know, we talk about this is a show for them, but their conversations can go in so many different directions because the music stands the test of time. It's touched so many people. It's inspired so many other artists. So we appreciate having people like you to give their perspective. We'll keep you posted about the bracket next year.
Yeah, please.
If we can do that real big and get some of our guests or potential guests or whoever in the room, gotta get Vogue in the room so the boys can stop bugging me.
Yeah, man. Good. They say we want Vogue. We don't care about nobody else. Bring Vogue and the friends.
Like I'm not man, like damn, y'all not happy to see me, man.
Oh, they're like, we don't want to talk about Neptunes no more. They're like, we want different perspectives.
I'm sure I ruin the bracket every year because my votes are so different than everybody else's.
No, that means you're bringing diversity.
Diversity of thought, man. We need it. We definitely need it. We definitely need it. Anything you got coming up you want to tell the people about, tell them to look out for?
Anything coming up? I mean, if anybody who's listening in the New York area, I have I will be closing my summer residency at Cafe Rizzoli here in Brooklyn, you know, for Labor Day weekend. I might do a couple more dates, you know, before like in the fall, but you know, I'm definitely not going into the winter. I'm gonna be playing in different places. I'm looking to go to different places. Hopefully Chicago soon, the Bay Area soon. I have an all Neptunes party called Yes Sir that I have done here in New York. I actually did it in DC a couple months ago. And, you know, for me, it's probably one of my more fun parties because I try to get DJs that genuinely have a passion for like Neptunes music as well. So it ain't just like everybody playing the same old shit. Like, you know, I like it so that we all playing deep cuts. We're all playing B-sides and C-sides and, you know, just really having fun with the music. And I like in the times that I've done it, the crowds have been so amazing because it's almost like, you know, they know the music that they're coming to listen to. So it's like there ain't really no bad record. It's like it's kind of an easy gig to do if you know the music because it's just like you just playing shit and mad people singing along. So a goal of mine is to do Yes Sir in more places. You know, I do want to come down to the 7-5 and do it. I'd be honored to do that. And just, you know, just come in different spots, man. I mean, you know, my name is my name on all socials, so like you can kind of keep up with me and the different things I'm doing. You know, I'm coming off of, you know, a campaign with, you know, a tequila company called Tres Generaciones and, you know, working with them. And I'm trying to do a lot. Well, I'm not trying, but I have some stuff kind of planned with them coming up soon. And yeah, man, life is good. I'm trying to enjoy my summer and be with my family, my friends. You know what I'm saying? Gun fingers and holding on my loved ones all year long.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. We appreciate you, man.
It's my pleasure.
Storyteller.
My pleasure. It's an honor. No, this was a good joint, man. Like I said, I could do this all day.
Man, everybody, thank y'all for listening to another episode of Neptune Sunday. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Neptune Sunday. And make sure to follow me in Vogue. I'm at BMosso8 on Twitter, Instagram. Vogue is Electro Dreams on Twitter and Amethyst Moderna on Instagram.
That sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
Close enough.
But yo, we're so appreciative of everybody listening. Like again, every time we wrap this up and we have a dope episode. I'm just extremely like blown by the fact that we have people who actually like want to listen to us talk all the time, which is absolutely insane. But then we get dope people like Cory on, and it's like, okay, now it makes sense. They want to hear us, but they want to hear it's everybody. It's all love.
All love.
All love. Okay, everybody, catch us next Neptune Sunday. It's been real. Peace and love.
Bye.